Do you remember the first rope tow you ever used? How about lacing up leather boots or using long wood skis? If you're like me, you probably started skiing on a small local hill. For many of us, those places are gone now. The closed ski areas that once defined our winters, our friendships, and even our youth. And yet they live on in our memories. As senior skiers, we have skied through decades of change. We remember the little hometown hills where you could ski all day for just a few dollars, or where your kids learned on a rope tow that smelled faintly of grease. Some of us had our first dates at those places. Others made lifelong friends riding lifts that no longer exist. When an area closes, it feels like a piece of our own story closes with it. I remember skiing with a neighborhood friend named Rosemary. She and I would ride the T-bar over and over and over again. Sometimes we would be laughing so hard that we literally fell off. I also remember going up the rope tow, and my older brother and his friends would try to knock us out of the ski tracks by snapping the rope as they got off. Independence, thrills, mischief, and fun, these are the memories of my first years skiing. Several of the ski areas I went to in my youth are gone. I'm saddened when I pass by one of them and see the rusted skeletal remains of the lifts and the dilapidated lodge. I can still taste the hot chocolate, hear the shrieks of my friends, and smell the wood smoke. Back in the 1960s, there were nearly 1,000 ski areas across the U.S., everything from big mountain destinations to small community slopes with a single rope tow. But over the decades, more than half of them have disappeared. The 1970s brought snowmaking, which favored the bigger mountains that could afford the equipment. The 80s piled on with skyrocketing insurance costs, forcing many small family-run hills to close up. In the 2000s, mega resorts and multi-mountain passes drew skiers away from these smaller mountains. And more recently, warmer winters have made it harder for the hills we loved to survive. Every statistic hides a story. That empty slope might have been where your daughter took her first wobbly turns, or where you learned to ski dressed in those itchy woolen clothes. These aren't just businesses, they were gathering places. They were the backdrop of our families, our friendships, and our winters. Losing them stings. Not because the skiing was always great, but because the memories were. I feel very bad for the owners of these areas because most of them put their life savings into these hills, as well as their dreams and sweat. Now we're left with about 480 ski areas nationwide, The survivors are stronger, but the losses still matter. When you drive past an overgrown lift line of a lost hill, it's like seeing an old friend's house boarded up. You can't help but remember the laughter, the frosty breaths, and the hot, satisfying fatigue at the end of the day. For us, the legacy of those closed ski areas isn't really lost. We carry it in our stories, in the way we teach our grandkids to ski, and in the joy that we still find on the slopes today. Ski areas may close, but the spirit they gave us is very much alive.